Hey guys, in this video I'll be discussing whether you should buy the new Model Y or the old Model Y, as it was launched yesterday for order in the US and in Europe. As some of you may know, I had made my order yesterday on launch day for my Model Y launch edition. After looking at some of the details, because they dropped the prices for the old Model Y, it might make more sense for you to buy the old one, or does it? Because there seem to be some hidden costs that are associated with the old one and included features of the new one that might make the new one actually more affordable and might be the right one for you. So in this video we can explore what is new about the new Model Y compared to the old one, what have they upgraded, which ones I'm most excited about, and at the end I'll do a comparison for you if you order on the website for the old one and the new one, which one actually ends up being cheaper. So make sure you stay till the end of the video and watch the whole video. If you like this type of content, remember to like and subscribe. And I'm gonna head to the shop now, and on my way back I'll go to my computer and we will do this comparison. We'll see you guys over there. Okay, so let's take a look at what is available on the Tesla website. I'm going to start with the US site and I'll show you some of the comparisons that I've noticed. But basically, if you go on the US site, first it shows the Model Y, the old one's current one, as the splash banner. But if you scroll down, you'll see that the new Model Y is down there. But if you click order now, you can see what the configuration is. For the purpose of this comparison, I'm going to change it to cash so that the numbers are easier to compare. But basically, if you look at the new Model Y, it has every single color included. Normally these colors, especially the red and the Quicksilver, are an additional cost, usually of $2,000. And it seems like whichever wheel you choose also is included. So normally these upgraded rims that are not just hubcaps are also an additional cost. Tow package is also included, so that's another $1,000 if I'm not mistaken. And if you want the white interior, that's also included. What's interesting about the US model is that the FSD is fully included as well. So this is all part of the launch package, as well as the fact that, you know, if you look on the launch series details, it also includes the acceleration boost, which is also an additional cost. So if you look at the price, $59,990, okay. Current long range, which is 47,990, which is massively reduced compared to before. But if you had to choose, let's say, none of these free colors, so well, white's not free, black is free, or stealth gray rather. But if you choose any color, let's just say you choose the Quicksilver, which is included in the launch series of the new one, and you upgrade to the induction wheels, that's another $2,000. If you want to get a tow hitch, that's another $1,000. Okay, you can't really choose this, but if you want the white interior, and then if you also want full self-drive, that already pushes it up to above the launch model, the brand new one. So that's obviously if you want FSD, but if you don't want FSD, then you're obviously going to be saving $8,000. So this is excluding the acceleration boost, as you know, but let's say you went for full self-drive and then acceleration boost, which is another $2,000. So that's going to be $62,990. And basically everything that I've shown you is included in the launch series. So you save money in terms of hidden costs of the old one. Unless obviously you go for everything stock standard. You know, if you go for stealth gray, you go with the 19-inch wheels, you don't want a tow hook. Earlier I actually didn't select the tow hook earlier. But anyways, if you don't select all of those things, then yes, you can get it for $47,990. And you can see that the acceleration is a big difference. So I think with the acceleration boost, this 4.8 seconds goes down to 4.3. So it's still not as fast as the new Model Y. So that's something that you guys were looking at. If you guys wanted the new colors, then to be honest, the new Model Y actually makes more financial sense for you, especially if you're going to get FSD. Now, this is only in the US market, because when I bought mine yesterday from the Portuguese site, we don't have full self-drive included, as some of you guys have mentioned in the comments on my previous video. But basically, let's take a look here to see what the price would be if I bought it in Europe. So unfortunately, for some reason, these links don't work, but basically it would be the same thing as going to the old Model Y's configuration page. So let's take a look at that. If you look at the old Model Y, I can also make an order for the old Model Y and configure it. So, oh, actually it might be because I can't configure because it doesn't actually allow me. I just need to order from the inventory. So I guess, you know, if I explore the inventory, maybe I can try to find one that's similar spec to what I spec mine as. So you see this is actually a demo vehicle, so it's got some kilometers on it. So I mean, let's say I want a long range, all-wheel drive, and I want Quicksilver, this one. So you see here, this one is the long range Quicksilver. It doesn't have the acceleration package. It is discounted to 52,845. I can add autopilot enhanced. That brings it up to 56,000, and that's all I can add. I don't know if I can add, I can't seem to add the tow hook here anymore. But if I look at the new one, the tow hook is included. The options are a little bit more limited on the European side. You can't choose the wheels with the wheel covers, and you can't choose the white interiors. So I got the autopilot enhanced, and this is basically my configuration. So that's 65,775, whereas you can probably get one from the inventory with autopilot enhanced for 56,000. Obviously this also doesn't have the upgraded rims, so let's see if we can find one of the rims instead. This one here, but it's in white. Okay, maybe let's find, is there a silver one? Quicksilver. I mean, let's go with red, because I think the red is the same price anyway. So if you look at this red one and you add autopilot enhanced, that's 58,835 as compared to, so this one also doesn't have a the tow hook included, as I think. Yep, no tow hook. So that's 58,835, whereas over here it'll be in 65,000. So you do save about 7,000 in Europe, but in the US it actually seems like it makes more sense to buy the new one, which is very interesting. So if that's what you guys are looking at between the old one and the new one in terms of price in the US, obviously check the inventory that's also available in the US side. Maybe there's even better deals in the inventory, but if you are configuring a new one, it might make more sense for you just to order the new one. And then this is a disclaimer, because I'm only looking at the US and the Portuguese sites. You must look at your own region to see what's available at the dealerships, or rather what's in inventory at the Tesla centers. So that would be some interesting price comparisons that you can make for yourself when you're buying your Tesla. The next section of this video I want to talk about is what are the actual upgrades between the old and the new Model Y. And the upgrades are surprisingly substantial. Normally Tesla does incremental updates to their cars. As you know, this body shape has been around for quite a while, but they have done upgrades over time. This is an all new model. They're calling it a facelift, but just like the Model 3, it's basically all new model, because most of the stuff has changed, as well as the structure of the car as well. The only thing that I think hasn't changed is probably the side of the vehicle, which they usually keep very similar. But even so, if I look here side by side, it does look, yeah, it looks almost identical. I'm not sure if the paneling is exactly the same, because these lights are different here now. So you can see that this panel moves or cuts slightly differently compared to the new one. So yeah, so let me go through the list of big upgrades that have been made to the new one. Not just from a visual aesthetic, obviously it's pretty obvious that the front lights and the rear light bar, reflective light bar thing has been upgraded, as well as the rear lights. There are a lot more interior upgrades, as well as upgrades under the hood, if you will, that makes this car, in my opinion, a lot more worth it, especially if you're going to buy a car that's you're going to keep for the next few years in terms of technology and upgrades. I would highly recommend checking out the new one. So there's a cool summary here on Reddit under the Tesla Model Y subreddit. Someone has posted a list of all the changes. I will link this in the description of this video below, so you guys can go look at it yourselves. But basically, I'm going to go through some of the changes, but you can see that the list is extremely long. And basically, this is from this YouTube video, Out of Spec Reviews, which I also watch. So I'm going to link this in the description as well. Very cool video, because he gets to compare the old one and the new one. He actually flew to China to compare the new one. And in the China model, it seems like there's a Tesla logo in front. In the options here, it doesn't include it, so I'm not sure if we're going to get a logo in front in the European and Western models. So it'll be interesting to see when I get my vehicle, when they start showing it at the showroom. But basically, let's go through the changes. So firstly, more aerodynamic, so 4%, that's marginal. I think that increases the range a little bit, so therefore we get 2.8% more range. And up to 50% of the parts of the car are new. I don't know what that even means, like, you know, obviously the front and the back, and there's a few things underneath. So one of the big things is apparently the glass on the old one doesn't reflect or refract out the heat as much as the new one. So there's 7 times better heat refraction, which increases efficiency, as well as the lack of need to have a sunshade, because as some of you probably know, I installed the shade in my Model 3 because it gets really hot in summer, and the glass doesn't really block out all the light. Front bumper camera, apparently this one is not incorporated into the self-driving, but it's more for the driver to see how close they are to the curb, so that's a welcome addition. Folding seats, this is powered back and front, open and close, powered back seats, which is really cool, and apparently is the fastest in the industry. I don't know if that's important to you, but I think you can save a bit of time if you are in a rush to open and close that. The long range is 28 pounds heavier than before, so that comes to about 14 kilograms heavier, and it is lower than the old Y, so it looks, I think it'll look a little bit more sporty. It has a lot of improvements in terms of ride, vibration, sounds, and noise because of the panoramic or all-round double pane glass, which we already have in the Model 3, and I think the Model 3 is fantastic in terms of quietness in the cabin, so I do think that this is going to be a welcome addition. So better call quality, I don't know about that. I mean, I've never had anyone complain that they can't hear me when I'm on the call, but then again, I've got the new Model 3, so I think a lot of the stuff comes from the new Model 3 basically. 3% stiffer body structure, that probably means better control, less body creaking and roll, especially high speeds around corners. Improved braking performance. Braking on my Tesla Model 3 is actually pretty bad. I must say the brakes aren't great because I think they rely on the brake regen, and you don't necessarily need to use your brakes a lot, but over here it says for more energy recapture, so probably better brake regen. This is what I'm extremely excited about, mainly because when I ordered my Tesla Model 3, I did not know this, but the standard range models come with inferior sound quality. The launch edition is a long range model, and that comes with 16 speakers instead of the 14. Already the previous long range performance models audio system is amazing, so if they're increasing that even more, that means the sound's going to be phenomenal. So I'm really excited about this. Apparently there was some sort of resonance from the rear of the car. I haven't experienced that, but if you are someone that has a Model Y and this annoys you, maybe this is a reason to upgrade, or your kids that are sitting in the back. Improved door seals. I think a few months ago I compared the Model 3 and the Model Y, or maybe a year ago now, and the thud of the door of the Model Y versus the Model 3 was a big difference. So I think the new Model Y would sound more like the new Model 3, which is great. Welcome addition, makes the car feel much more premium. 27% more downforce on the rear tires. I'm interested about this because that means it'll have more grip, better stability. But also what happens if I add a carbon fiber wing? So I'm gonna wait for the performance model to come out, and then we'll see what the wing looks like, and if that looks cool, I'll also get that for my Model Y. New gearing and powertrain for slight efficiency improvement. I don't know, like this, not too sure about. Changed lubrication. I think this is general improvements that you probably won't feel too much driving. The front seats automatically move forward, so the rear seats headrest don't hit when the front seats are folding. When the rear seats are folding down, that was pretty cool. In the video, which I'll link in the description below, you'll see that when you press the button for the back seats to go down, it actually moves the front seat so that it doesn't get stuck, which is very annoying in my Model 3 because easy access setting, I have the seat quite far back, and then when I drop down the rear seats, it just gets stuck, and then I have to go to the front and move the seat forward. So it's kind of a hassle to use the drop down seats, but you know, it looks like it makes it really convenient. You can literally stand in the back of the car and put the seats down without having to even wait, because it seems very quick, and you also don't have to go to the front to move the seats forward. A lot of improvements in the interior. You know, there's a speaker housing trim, speaker grille over here, and this is also in the back, and it makes the car look a lot more premium. They also have this Alcantara finish for the dash trim, and then some stitching over here. I'll probably change my wheel out for the yoke again because I really like the yoke. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And otherwise, you know, a lot of the interior will be very familiar to my Model 3. So bigger touchscreen, as in same touchscreen, but I think with smaller bezels. Hole at the bottom steering wheel to rest fingers. I don't know what that even means. Okay, so they introduced the turn signal stalk. I don't necessarily think that this was a missing thing because I got really used to using the buttons on my steering wheel in the Model 3. I wouldn't have missed it if they did not have that. Oh, reduced top speed. So the top speed is similar to my Model 3, which is not fast at all. Now you can also turn off the passenger side, the passenger ventilation only, and keep the ventilation on for the driver. This was introduced in the Model 3, so this is going to be the same in the Model 3 as well. And it seems like a lot of the upgrades are bringing it up to modernity, I guess, to the Model 3 level, and the front is not powered. Some people suspected that it would be powered, but unfortunately it is not. So it's still a manual front, but it now has a drain hole, so you can actually fill it up with water and put some ice if you need to keep stuff cold or whatever, and later on you can open up the drain and it'll drain the water out, which is pretty cool. Those are the main changes, I would say. There is one complaint that people have said, is that basically it charges a bit slower than before. I think it might be because of the change in battery technology, but I won't go into too much detail there. For me, you know, besides wanting a bigger car and wanting a new car, I did come from the new Model 3, so it will be difficult for me to even justify if I had to choose between buying the old Model Y, or keeping my Model 3. I would have just kept my Model 3 because it would have felt like a big downgrade in terms of just general driving and technology if I moved from my current Model 3 to the old Model Y instead of getting the upgrade to the Model Y. Some of you also said, shouldn't I have waited for the regular edition, not the launch series? Usually the launch series, just like the Foundation series and Cybertruck, is going to be out for quite a while before the regular models are going to be available. And looking at the pricing and what's included in the launch series, I would have gone for most of the upgrades anyway, so I don't think the prices would have been a big difference. In Europe, we couldn't get these crossflow wheels, we could only get the Helix ones, so I would have chosen that as well. And this time, you know, one mistake was that I didn't get a tow package on my Model 3, so I couldn't get a trailer in case I wanted to pull something, so at least that's included. I would have got black interiors as well, I wouldn't have gotten the white, and I was going to get autopilot enhanced. So for me, for my situation, it wouldn't have made sense for me to wait, because I would have ended up paying probably similar, and if there's inflation by the time the other one comes out, maybe I would have paid more, who knows. Thanks to you guys, I've been really excited to get this new car as well, and I hope I can make some cool content for you. If there's anything that you guys want to know in terms of, you know, my ordering process, I'll make lots of videos when the car arrives. I'll also show you guys me taking delivery of the car. So if there's anything exciting that you want me to, in terms of videos to make on the new Model Y, as well as what you want me to make on the current Model 3, which is going to be sold soon, let me know in the comments below so that we can try get that content planned and made before I have to get rid of that car, and then for the new car as well. Let me know as well in the comments below which one you guys are going to be getting, and whether you guys think that the new Model Y looks good, and whether you will get it despite the savings of getting the previous generation. Personally, you know, I don't know if I would have gone for a performance model anyways if that was available, because firstly, you usually get less range than the long range, and the upgrades on the Model Y in terms of performance trim, I guess, is much smaller than the difference between the long range and performance. This might be different for this year's model, but in the models before, the trim upgrades were minimal. You know, like you got different rims, you got a wing, whereas in the Model 3 it was a completely different car almost. So I think it really depends on what you want. In my case, given my experiences with the standard range Model 3, I would definitely have gone for the long range. For the Model Y, it makes sense for me to get this model. I wouldn't have gotten the performance, I wouldn't have gotten the standard range, and given that the launch series included so much stuff, it made sense for me to order it. So let me know in the comments below which one you'll choose, and if you like this content, remember to click the like button and subscribe. Make sure that you see my future content with this car as well as my existing car, And if you have any cool questions that you might have, drop them in the comments below, and we'll see you guys next time.